Hey, this is Dan from What the Food and Help Me Chef. I'm so glad you found us today because I have something that's really on my mind and I've been working on figuring out a best way to approach this. And I think we have it. I think we've cracked it and I'm bringing it to you for the first time. The issue is, what do you do 365 days a year, 3 times a day, most of us, over 1,000 times a year, and you're probably spending 12 bucks a pop every time you do it. I'm trying to save you money, but it's eating, okay? So you have to eat, right? That's the main issue. We all have to eat, but we all don't have to go out to eat, and we all don't have to go to fast food restaurants to eat. What's happening in the last 20 years or so is an epidemic of fast food. Do you know that McDonald's sells 75 hamburgers a second? That's a ridiculous number. Now, I'm not saying don't go out to restaurants and don't ever go out to fast food. I'm just saying it shouldn't be 4 or 5 times a week like the national average is. I'm addressing this issue head on because I've got a daughter and a son, a wife, and I'm not an advocate of going out to fast food restaurants. I don't ever do that because it's terrible food for you. It adds to the obesity in the United States. It adds to high cholesterol, number one disease, heart disease, all those sodiums and nitrates, and it's just terrible for your system. So I've come up with a program, and I think I've cracked it for you. You know, the main issue is that people don't have time. They say they don't have time, meaning they're working really hard. 2-income families, meaning a mom and dad are out at the work, and then they can't get home and make dinner. But I actually have a solution for you about that because I also am a working father. And I know what it's like. I also have gone through all the cycles of my life in the sense that I had a boyfriend and a girlfriend. Not a boyfriend, but you know what I'm saying. Then I've dated, and then I got engaged, and I had a kid, and I work. And for all those reasons, I found out a way to make it simple, fast, easy, like one pan, and delicious food that you normally get in every restaurant or every supermarket. You have chicken, you have hamburger, you have ground turkey, you have pork, right? You got fish and seafood. Those are the main things. Well, I got tired of making chicken and figured out a different way to make chicken, and figured out a different way to make turkey patties, figured out a different way to make hamburger. And I'm passing those on to you, but I've also cut it down into, get this, single serving recipes, okay? So it's simple. It's one recipe cut down, so you're not doing a bunch of waste. And also, if you're a single person and you only want to cook for yourself, and it says makes 4 or makes 8 in a recipe book or online, guess what? I solved it. It's a single serving. A 1/4 teaspoon of this, a 1/2 teaspoon of that. And I've cut it down so you can make a pad thai for one. You can make a Thai rice noodle for one. You can make lasagna for one. You can make macaroni and cheese for one. You get my point. So that's the first problem, is how do we make it accessible and fast and easy and fun for you guys? And I think I've done that by just making it in one pan most of the time. It's easy cleanup, it's one pan recipe, and it's delicious, and it's single serving. The problem is if you don't change your habit, it's gonna roll to the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. I know this is because when I went on a couples retreat with a couple other couples, there was 10 of us, and the only one that knew how to cook was me. And the reason I knew how to cook was because I grew up with my mom and grandmother in the house. I'm Italian, 100% Italian, and it's a requirement that we learn how to cook. It's actually not a requirement, but most Italians know how to cook because it's been handed down through generation after generation. When that breaks down and the mother and father no longer are living with the kids and so on and so forth, it doesn't happen. So for the last 10, 20, 30 years, generationally, we haven't been handing down how to cook. And then we sprung up McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell. Now they're doing these blue plate food specials where you order the food, it comes packed in a container, which is about 14, 15, 16 bucks for one meal or two. And I can be doing that with you for $2 a meal. 2, 3 tops, and you can feed 2 or 3 or 4 people. All you have to do is double or triple or quadruple the recipe if you have 4 in your house, okay? So it's super, super easy. And on top of it all, we're gonna save you tons of money because a family for 4 to go out to McDonald's, even a family of 4, 24, 25 bucks, okay? You could feed a family of 4 for 6, 7, 8 bucks max with the recipes I've developed. So let's stop doing that. Let's start doing something new. And I think that you're on board for that. That's why you're here watching. So a little bit about me. As I said, I'm coming from an Italian background. I'm passionate about this issue because it was me. I was figuring out a way to feed my wife, my kids, and not to bust the bank, because I had a mortgage to make and I had a nursery, I had a baby, and she didn't want to eat anything until she was like 6 months old. But when at 6 months old, I started feeding her chicken and pizza, and well, not pizza, but you know what I'm saying. So she's ate very well since she was a little kid. She never really liked baby food. But I had to figure out a way to feed a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old, right? Throughout their growth pattern. They're 19 now, and guess what? I'm teaching them how to cook because they're 19 and they need to learn how to survive and how to cook for themselves and save money so they can start paying for their car and their apartments and so on and so forth. So, it's basically, I'm just like you. It was my personal issue where I knew that I went on this retreat with these colleagues of mine, and nobody knew how to cook. We all were sitting around. I said, "What are we gonna have for breakfast?" And they're like, "I don't know how to cook." So guess what? I have them gave me their money. I pooled the resources, because going out to restaurant, the first night we went out to a Mexican restaurant, that was fine, but it was like $600 for 10 of us. And you know how much food I could have bought for $600? I could have fed everybody for 2 weeks on $600. So I asked them to give me some money. I went to the store, I bought all the food, I cooked breakfast, lunch, and dinner for us on the island. We were in Catalina Island. It was a wonderful time. But the most important thing is that after the end of that trip, a lot of them came to me and said, "Can I have that recipe for that spicy egg souffle thing that you made? Or can I have," and then they also said, "You know what? We were out having coffee. You went in the house, you came out, and you had a souffle. I don't know how you did that." And I said, "Well, it's just a matter of I knew how many people we had, and I knew how long it was going to take to cook it. So I divided it all up. I made a big casserole of it, and I brought it out." And they're like, "That was the fastest, best food we ever had. So can I have that recipe?" I said, "Sure." And then I started thinking, instead of just packing up 1 recipe, 2 recipes, 3 recipes for Michelle, and 4 recipes for Nicole, and 5 recipes for Mark, I thought I would make a little book that said, my favorite recipes, and give it to them, because I knew they needed to be fast, it needed to be easy, and needed to be simple recipes, like food that you would get at Ralph's or Whole Foods or something. It would always be a ground turkey or a ground beef or something like that, and then roll into, it's not complicated food. It's delicious food, but I'm going to show you how to do it. And even dessert, like I made English toffee, okay, which is for the holidays. It takes you 5 minutes, but they charge you $15 for a barrel of it at See's Candy. I can teach you how to make that in like 5 minutes. It's half a stick of butter, 1 stick of butter and half a cup of sugar and a little bit of salt, and that makes your caramel. And then you lay it down and you put your nuts on top, and you're good to go, okay, on top of the chocolate chips that you melted on. So anyway, point being, simple, fast, delicious recipes, okay? When I started learning how to cook, I obviously learned with my mom and my grandmother and things like that. And actually, I started when I was younger. When I was in 4th grade during show and tell, all the other kids were bringing in rabbits and kittens and dogs, puppies, and I brought in a blender and I tried to show the kids how to make a pina colada. Of course, I didn't bring the alcohol, but at 10 years old, I was already starting to want to teach people how to cook. That led into, a little while ago, I opened up a school, a culinary school for people off the street, come in, and you basically, you learn how to cook a 4-course meal. That was an appetizer, a side dish along with a main course, and a dessert. And that was an amazing time, and we fed lots of people, and we had a wonderful time because you could have free-flowing wine, and we had music. It was great. It was like a big dinner party. Well, dinner parties have kind of gone away, but sometimes people have barbecues and they say, "Hey, come on over and bring something." I've made special recipes for you for that. I made a bruschetta that you can make in advance, and basically it travels really well, and I make note of that in the recipe book. This program is not just a recipe book. This is not just an online recipe that you go, "Here's a book, go for it." No, there's videos, there's instruction. I will teach you live once a week, and you can call in or write in, and I'll answer questions. It's a full course of having to help you become the best chef that you can be. I want you to learn how to cook. I want you to get kitchen confidence. This program will start to change your whole outlook on food. If you've been teased, because that used to happen. You know, you used to be sitting around going, she could starve a fly, or he can't boil, he'll burn water, or she can't make toast, and you were teased by your aunts or your uncles, your stepkids. Let's stop that from happening. Let's get you some good quality. All of these have been tested. I've cooked over and over and over and made these recipes perfect. They're foolproof. Many of them are 3-4 steps. I've combined ingredients into one. I don't do this thing where we see a lot of recipes and they go, well, let's do this, and then make sure you do this. That's like too difficult. So guess what? I've made it all into one recipe. All you have to do is follow the instructions, super easy, and they go into one pan, and by the time you're done, you've made it. When I was teaching people how to cook, many of them would come to me and say, I can't believe I just made that, whether it be French onion soup or macaroni and cheese or a chicken piccata, which one of my favorites. So anyway, if you're looking to gain kitchen confidence, if you're looking to eat better, you don't want to have this cholesterol issue, because you know what's going in your food when you make it yourself. You also don't want to overeat. Guess what? This is a single serving. The average protein is 4 or 5 ounces. The average steak isn't this huge porterhouse steak. It's a New York steak. It's a normal serving size, so that you don't overeat. It'll be healthy and delicious, all fresh ingredients. It's an awesome thing. And guess what? I'm going to teach you every step of the way. You have questions, you contact our content manager. They're going to fire me a question that you might have had in an email, and I'll answer that question. If majority of you that are watching want to have, I want to make shrimp risotto, or, well, we do shrimp risotto, but let's just say it's something that we don't have in the book. Hey, I'm interested in French toast. Okay, I'll make you the French toast, and I'll show you on the video how to make the best French toast. Yes, there's a trick, and you're gonna have tricks and tips the entire way. I'm gonna teach you everything I've learned about being a chef, and it's going to be done in this cook down package of basically a little program. I'm going to give you the first starting step is 52 recipes, and for 52 recipes in this program for $52. Okay, so that's $1 a recipe. Super simple, super easy, and you don't just get the book, and you don't just get the online course, you don't just get the videos, you also get the bonuses, tips and tricks. You also get you can go to my Facebook page and my Instagram page, and you can put in questions, and I can answer questions for you. It gives you a choice as to what you want to see. You can say, I'd like to see this again, or can you explain how to debone a chicken better, or I'm only dealing with what's the difference between broil and boil. I can explain those things to you. So it's not you can ask for specific recipes if you want, and I know you want to learn. I know you want to become a better chef or a better cook, or even cook for the first time. That's what the main thing of this program is. It's not a program if you already know how to cook and you know about chemistry, about certain foods, what you should and shouldn't pair with, things like that. If you're just starting out, you don't even know what should be in your pantry. I give you a pantry essentials list, okay? Also, I give you a refrigerator must-haves sheet. And so, because there's certain things in your refrigerator, for instance, you need to have ketchup. I may not like ketchup, but you need to have ketchup, because I'm gonna make ketchup, and you also need in your pantry honey. And you need, obviously, salt and pepper, because with pantry and honey, I can make you a barbecue sauce for your meatballs, or I can make you a barbecue sauce for your pulled pork barbecue sandwich, okay? But we can't do that unless you have everything that you need in your pantry and everything that you need in your refrigerator. Nobody goes around and tells you what you should start up with when you have your first apartment. You might look in your pantry and have, some oil, right? Some sprinkles that you would put on a Christmas cookie, and maybe some chocolate chips, all right? And believe it or not, I could probably make something with that, but that's beside the point. The main thing is I'm going to teach you how to use, and first of all, stock your pantry and stock your refrigerator, and then if you have questions along the way, I can answer questions in this program. It's a first of its kind. I'm really excited to be the first one doing it for you, and in this program, because I'm literally wanting to teach people how to become better, how to sustain themselves. Also save money so that you can get your cars, you can pay for your rents, you can pay, it's not getting any cheaper out there. And where you should really learn this life skill, maybe you haven't been handed down because your parents weren't together or you weren't in the family's house when you should have been learning about how to make meals. But the days of pot roast and tuna casseroles are behind us, but we're gonna still make a tuna melt. A beautiful tuna melt. We're still going to make a pulled pork sandwich because that's amazing. But we're going to make it with a nice whiskey bourbon sauce. Okay, that's going to be delicious. So and that pork sandwich that can feed 4 people. Well, actually, you can feed 6 people because you pull off the pork and you make a wonderful pork roast out of it, and that'll feed your family of 4, family of 6, or just yourself for the week instead of having to go out to dinner or lunch, $12 a pop. All right. When you sign up, you start to learn your expertise. You become an accomplished, learned chef. Okay, you learn the basics. I'm talking about difference of boiling and sautéing, how to baste, how to dice, of course, knife skills. You learn to be productive. When you don't know what you're going to make that night for dinner, you can simply look at the recipe list and go, oh, that looks good, I'm going to make that. You get the recipe, you go to the store, you pick it up, and then you can watch the video and I'll show you how to make it. It's that simple. You're going to be totally efficient in the kitchen. And I know some of the concerns people have is I feel disorganized and I don't know what goes when and how fast and how long I should cook it. I've taken care of all that for you, okay? I specifically say, put this in the pan and cook it for 3 minutes. While that's cooking, take out this and make this, okay? When 3 minutes are up, flip the meat over, okay? It's super straightforward, super simple. It's nothing complicated about it. You don't need any fancy gear. Another thing that people complain about or are worried about is, oh, I only have 1 set of pans, or I don't have the right cooking surface, or I don't have the right knife set. You know what? None of that means anything. You just need a heat surface, which is either a electric oven or a gas stove, You need a pan, 1 pan, about this big, okay? And a knife. It doesn't have to be anything fancier than that, okay? Let's not complicate it. It's gonna be simple, it's gonna be straightforward, and you're gonna learn how to make some amazing food. And that your friends and family will be shocked, and yourself probably, that you'll be shocked that you made. The other important thing about this program is you understand quantity, meaning you don't need to make 8 chicken breasts for 1 person, okay? You don't do that. We take out 1 chicken tender or 3 chicken tenders for a chicken finger. You won't overeat, and it's all single serving. So it'll be 1 chicken breast, 1 steak, this kind of thing. So you can always monitor, and you'll save your money. If we can get 2 New York steaks in a package at Ralph's for $6, half of that is $3. You just made a $3 steak instead of a $30 steak at the restaurant. And we can make it with a steak Florentine, so it'll be like an Italian feel. It'll smell great in your kitchen. You have a glass of wine with it. Impress your dates. It's amazing. It's amazing what a home cooked meal can do, okay? When you start to go into the market, you'll start to feel confident about where you should go, in the sense that, oh, I need a ground turkey. You won't wander. I see people in the market all the time wandering around, and sometimes I look in their cart and I see a hodgepodge of things. I see broccoli and asparagus and apple juice and salmon. And I'm like, that's not a very good combination. So I sometimes will look at that and I'll say, oh my gosh, we need to help that person out, This is exactly what the kind of program is for. And so I'm really excited to be bringing this to you today. It's been a labor of love. We have a small group of people all pulling together for this, but they all believe in the end goal, which is to teach people how to cook, eat better, save money, be healthy. That's what our goal is, okay? In the program, let's say you make a steak, okay? And we'll make a basic steak. The next time the steak is a steak Florentine, so it's a step up from that 1 steak. The next steak you make might be a steak with Gorgonzola butter and cheese, okay? So it's advancing as it goes through the book. So the first one might be more simple, and the second or third one gets a little twist to it, a little bit more complicated. But guess what? You learn how to make chicken fingers, then you learn how to make spicy chicken noodles, and then the next time you learn how to make like a Chinese orange chicken, okay, or something like that. So we kind of comboed it to build on what you've learned. And when you learn all those things, when you learn those 52 recipes, you will then start to be able to teach other people how they can be the master of their own kitchen. You know, they say, give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, he eats for the rest of his life. That's the promise that we're making here. That's what we're trying to do. So you're also going to learn a bunch of other things. You're going to learn knife skills. You're going to learn how to cut, how to dice, how to chiffonade. I know it's a fancy word, but it's basically how to make ribbons out of beautiful herbs. You're going to learn how to use a double broiler. You're going to learn the difference between boil and broil, and it's not just the R. Okay, so there's a lot of things that we're going to teach, but it's all going to be done in a fun, effective way. You're going to know the difference, or how to cook a steak from rare to medium well, or to well. You're going to understand the difference of that based on timing, based on technique. Okay, so there's a lot of things you're going to learn. Impress your friends, it'll impress your family, it'll impress your wives and your kids. A lot of times people get upset because their kids are complaining about their food, and I understand that. But we're going to make all these have been tested and true, so there's no problem with learning how to make these dishes. They're simple, they're straightforward, they're easy, they're fast, they're fun, and it's easy to clean up. So one dish, one pan, your cleanup's done. Okay, so I'm giving you all these program steps. I'm teaching you about knife skills. I'm giving you pantry essentials for free. I'm teaching you what you should have in your refrigerator. You're going to learn how to use different tools. Sometimes you have to use a ricer, and I call that out. You don't even know what a ricer is yet, probably. Sometimes you use a mini food processor. That's fantastic. We've got to get one of those, okay? It's very rare that we have any specialties tools, but when they do have a specialty tool called out in the recipe, you'll need that. Well, we have a ricer for gnocchi, for instance, and people are like, oh my God, gnocchi is so difficult. It isn't. Not the way that I've made it for you. We just need to follow the directions and it'll be taken care of. And it's literally done in like 10 minutes, okay? So I know that we can do this. If you sign up today, sign up below, go to Help Me Chef and whatthefood.com, and you'll start to see what we're talking about this community. You'll see people's success stories. We're going to post people's triumphs in our feedback loop. Okay, we're going to see all those things, and we're going to have success stories. I've already had a few of my own. When I was teaching people how to cook, a grown man who hated mushrooms all of a sudden loved mushrooms. It's because he didn't know how to cook them correctly. Do you know that mushrooms, you shouldn't ever put water on mushrooms? No, people don't tell you that. But that's the truth, because they're like a little sponge, and that's what makes them slimy and squishy and fall apart. We don't like those. We teach you how to deal with mushrooms, okay? So sign up below. If there's anything that you could think of that I didn't cover, please let me know. Your voice is important in this program. I want to make sure I give you exactly what you need to be successful. Again, $52 for 52 recipes, plus all the ancillary bonus items. I think it's a great deal. You get the pantry essential, pantry must-haves, and refrigerator revamp for free. And I have to say, I'm so excited for your future. I'm so excited for your culinary journey that you're going to start on right now. So sign up, and I'll see you soon in videos and on the web. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.